Jyoti Ramachandran. Mrs. Jyoti Ramachandran. She is a teacher, principal, and storyteller. She is presently head principal of Mahapragya Public School, which is a CBSE certified school. Apart from academics, she also moonlights as a storyteller. You have been teacher, madam. Okay, you have been teacher and then now a principal. So can you share your journey and how did storytelling help you grow in your career?
Way back in 87, I started helping a servant, a maid's son, to learn. Like I was married, happily married with 2 kids. And one day that Bai told me, Didi, आप तो किताब पढ़ते रहते हो और मेरे बच्चे को कुछ ना कुछ करो ना. So I decided to help the child, and I found that it was nice being a teacher, nice sharing my little wisdom. And then I decided to do my B.Ed, my M.Ed, and M.Phil, and others, doctorate in management studies. And then I decided to become a full-time teacher. My kids were growing up, so it was easy to, you get into a school, and then once you become a teacher, you can get admissions also. Yeah, so it was in Delhi. I could get a teacher's placement. My first job was in a school called Mota Singh School. It is in Guru Harkishan Nagar. Now it's become very big. Then I had a very long stint at St. Francis de Sales, Janakpuri, Delhi, where both my kids studied in the same school. I was also a teacher. So it was nice being in the same premises where your own kids are. So I don't have to worry about what they studied or what they did not study. It was much easier. Then later on, I moved into DAV. There I had a very nice principal called Mr. S.C. Anand. I hope he's watching this. He kind of encouraged me to do a lot of things. He did not let me sit quiet. The day I joined the school itself, I think probably he had some plans for me, or plans were there, and he started giving me a lot of assignments whereby I could enrich myself plus get really kind of creative. I remember it was sometime in 92. One summer I got a peon, a class 4 employee, comes to my home and says, Principal, aapko bula rahe hain. So I was very thrilled. You have just joined the school in April, and May, the principal calls you to the school. So you're very happy. You don't know. I mean, at least I was very thrilled. Principal bula rahe. I was hardly 30s, and the principal was a senior person. So when he called me, I was thrilled, and I didn't know what to do. I rushed to the school. Then I got my first writing assignment for the foreword for a magazine. We had an activity calendar long time ago. So I had to write something. And when I wrote it, it was much appreciated. Then I said, oh, I think I can do this too. So slowly, one by one, things fell into my place. And while I was a student in Coimbatore, I had a lot of very nice teachers whom we respected a lot. Today, children, they don't respect, they are very friendly with us. Their respect has become friendliness. In those days, the teacher was the center of authority, the center of knowledge. So I had very good teachers. Every teacher, every subject teacher was excellent. But my English teacher, Mrs. Sudha Rao, right now she is in US, and my librarian, Mrs. Barbara John, I was closely associated with them. And how did I get into reading is also very important, because if you have to write, you have to read a lot. So when we used to, during the stock checking in library, we used to do that with a lot of enthusiasm, and as was a girls' school, it wasn't co-ed. And at the end of the whole the stock checking was over, we would get those condemned books. So when you get those books as gifts, you are so thrilled. And you feel, oh, I've got the Padma Bhushan and Padma Vibhushan all in one. And that also made me start reading a lot of books. And as a family, we are just 9 of us, unlike the present family where there are just 2 children. So we were 9 of us. I'm the youngest in the family. So we all used to read a lot of books, magazines and books. And it was fun fighting for books on a Sunday. Everybody will say, I want to read, you want to read. And because I was the youngest, I could get the privilege of reading a book first. And when you start reading, I mean, I will also say, confess something that when you're in class 8, class 9, you want to show off a lot. So you carry a thick book with you so that everybody says, she's reading. I don't know how many of you have been doing that, but at least I have done that. I have a friend, Uma Shankari, I hope she's listening to me. At least I used to do that and show off that I'm reading a lot. So you got into reading, and we used to write a lot, encouraged by our teacher of English and our librarian who used to teach us American history also. And then, you grew big, you got into college, and then when I became a teacher, I think the flashback is now moving into the present. So and a teacher has to be a good storyteller. Especially if you're a language teacher, you have ample options to be a storyteller. Right now, our system is changing where you can integrate storytelling as pedagogical tool in our systems. In fact, on September 8th or 14th, I'm doing a workshop for CBSE, storytelling as a pedagogy. So you kind of prepare yourself to become a good teacher, an interesting teacher. So to make it lively, okay, I started telling stories, and I found that I became quite popular. Children kind of liked it. I used to teach English also, science also. So when I used to do that, it was very nice. Kids used to like it. And I remember in 95, class 9th, when I was a teacher, we made a booklet of poems written by students in the class, and they also wrote stories. So slowly, I was evolving as a person who was enabling others to write stories or tell stories. And then soon I found that I was also getting into storytelling. I love to tell stories. I love to listen to stories. My sister, right now she's in the States, she used to tell me a lot of stories. I was very impressed about Prahlad, the story. Hiranyakashipu and Prahlad. I used to believe, or even now believe, that God has answers, that one power, you may call it, has a lot of answers for our problems. And when she used to tell about Prahlad, I used to be totally engrossed in the about Prahlad and Narayan coming and helping. So storytelling had that power to connect people with another person. And recently, somewhere in 2015, I think, I came across Dr. A.P. Jayaraman. It was his 72nd birthday, I think. We celebrated his birthday, and he had a science storytelling festival. So I got into it, and ever since, once I found that the chemistry between us was very good, we started combining together. I mean, collaborating with each other. And he would call me for a lot of storytelling sessions. He has written a lot of books, and right now he's writing more books for children, demystifying all the science concepts. So I keep, whenever he calls me, he's my mentor, I go for the sessions, customize the stories as per the science concept. And I've been now almost 5 years into storytelling. And since I volunteer with children, every day it's a different kind of story that comes into my mind. I try not to say the same thing. I try to keep it very contemporary. Like Vijay Kargil Divas was there, so I made a story for the children in Punganur about a soldier. Then Friendship Day, we had about Krishna and Sudama. Then my grandchildren are there, they like to read books. So I created a story with their names, a little twisted and contorted, and it sounded very interesting for them. So storytelling has now become my second skin, I suppose. And yesterday I had an interesting session trying to speak, because I'm learning Chinese. I tried to tell a story in Chinese with my pet dragon out here. And Cherry is with me today. You can see him. He's called Xiao Long. Xiao is small and Long is dragon. So I think, I mean, I can't put all the entire life into 5 minutes. I hope I've answered a few of your questions. Yeah.
So you are actually a good mix of Vedas, stories from Vedas, Puranas, Indian parables. You have heard your stories from your sister, your mother, grandma. A family, small family of 9. So it's full
Yeah.
of stories. Then your village teachers, and from there this steam. Okay, science fictions or
Science.
stories on science. So tell us, one of the story which you created, or maybe you narrate, which is a science story, and what is the science behind creating that story?
So, since teachers would be watching it, one such story that comes to my mind is The Three Little Pigs, where the first little pig was very lazy. He builds a house of twigs. The second one builds a house of straw, and the third one builds out of rock and stone. So, when the big bad wolf comes, he will say, "With a huff and a puff, I shall blow your house down." So, the first house falls, and the pig enters, eats the wolf enters, eats the pig. That's end of pig number one. The second one again, with a huff and a puff, I shall blow your house down. Again, because the house is not a paka structure, the pig, the wolf enters the house and eats the pig number two. There are different versions to it. Some say that both the pigs run to the third pig's house. That is also a possible idea, a plausible one. So they run to their brother's house, and there they are very safe, waiting for the pig to come to their house. So they're all waiting, closed doors, thinking that the pig will come. So the pig will come and say, "Here I have come with a huff and a puff. I shall blow your house down." So the brother says, "Okay, but this is not the door that you have to enter. You come down through the chimney. That's the best way." The wolf was not using his senses, because sometimes when you're in anger or when you're hungry, you don't know what you're saying or what you're doing. So the pig climbs up the chimney, goes up, and then dives straight. And I still remember when this was narrated to me, he falls splash into a big cauldron of hot water. And that's the end of the story of the pig, the wolf. So this could be used as a story, scientific story, to speak about the different forms of materials used for house building, probably. So we speak about straw, we speak about twigs, we speak about stones, mortar. So you say, how do you make a paka house? So you would use these things. So this is one kind of concept that we could use about it. Yeah. And we could use about somebody, when I was talking to, we thought about this, the Shivdanush, which was used, or which comes in the Ramayana story. So that also, if it was made out of lighter material, you can break it easily, right? If it is glass, you can say Ram tried to pick up and it will drop. But when you say such stories from the historical or mythological value, we'll have to be very sensitive about what we are speaking about,
Yeah.
because somebody might get offended कि श्री राम के बारे में ऐसे बोल दिया, कृष्णा के बारे में ऐसे बोल दिया. And also when you tell stories, you think, I mean, you don't expect children of today to take in every word that you say. If you know a story about Lord Krishna and an old fruit seller, okay, the Krishna is just playing about when a very old lady comes in with a big basket of fruits. The whole day she's gone around. She has not got any business. So she's very tired. She's very, very hungry also. So she goes to Krishna, and Krishna, he's a child of 3 or 4.5 years. He gives her 3 handfuls of rice. He puts it in, give it to her. Then she says, "What do I do with this?" And Krishna just smiles. So when I was, and she just takes it home. Okay, I've got 3 handfuls of rice. A small 4-year-old child, how much of rice he would have given? But she takes it home, And when she takes it home, she opens it, she finds there a lot of gold and diamond and precious stones. Now, when I was telling this story to my grandson, what he said, why did she not eat the fruits herself? And why did she go and ask Krishna? She did not have asked because she had food up there. So children today, they don't take in every word that we say. So we've got to tell stories which we accepted all the stories that were told to us. That a fish came and it can swallow you up. Manu was in a small boat. We accepted. Indra did that. Krishna did that. We did not question Krishna's acts or acts of help in Kurukshetra war. But today's children, they keep asking. They know Spider-Man better than Hanuman.
Yeah.
So you could weave in a lot of concepts that you want, and that would be a typically academic session that when I get into a science concept as pedagogical tool. I doubt whether we would have so much
No.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are working with Tony Canston, right? So Tony is in UK and he runs that East London radio series. Now you quite often contribute in his talking stories. So what are these stories all about, and
Okay.
what do you do there?
Let me be humble or true to my submission that we've been working together, but not for too many because of this webinars, the recent online lessons. I met him through Facebook and I had asked him to do a webinar for our students. And before that, Facebook helped me, social media helped. So he had wanted some authors to tell stories. It is not a video recording, it is an audio recording. So they record stories and then it is broadcast. How we used to listen to Binaka Geetmala and all those radio stuff. So they still have it, and he's pretty much experienced, and he's a professional storyteller. He's been for me, teaching is my first love or my first bread and butter. For him, storytelling has been his first love, first is a livelihood. So he's doing that. So even today we had a session in the morning, somebody else had hosted it. So he told lovely 3 stories, and somebody was asking, how are you feeling as a storyteller to use the digital media? And many people, they don't show their faces on the webinar. So it's like talking to a black screen. So he says, yes, I'm finding it very difficult when I don't see faces, I don't have eye-to-eye contact. I don't know whether the person is smiling or mocking at me or whether he's bored. So Tony has only audio series, not video series. But there is another book launch which is going to happen soon. So now with the webinar, everybody is getting used to it. There's another group in Netherlands where they have stories every Saturday. This is also through FB I found out. So they also have very interesting stories, different stories which we haven't heard about. And most of them are fantasy of the highest kind.
Oh.
And again, they are using a media, the digital media of late. They are also pretty, not very comfortable using it. But now it's 6th week or 7th week, they are feeling okay, and we are doing it on a regular basis. So maybe Tony can try more stories with us next time. You can call him. You could do that. And there are a lot of perceptions difference. Like today, a child asked him, should we write the story first? Should it be online writing? So he says, I come from the old school where we write. And he said, I write with a pencil and then I rub it off. So nowadays, children are familiar with the keyboard. And sometimes you get predictive text also from the keyboard. So then that's maybe not your story then. The Google gives you the words. So these are the new challenges which has come up.
Yes.
Again, Kindle and book reading. When you read a book on a Kindle and when you read a book, hold the book in your hand, feel the smell of the paper. So all that is a very different experience which this generation may not experience. And now they are going in for augmented reality stories where you wear those VR glasses and then you feel as if you're going down a slide, lot of water gushing behind you, and Monster Temple Run is there. Lot of things are available. PUBG is something which has lot of stories. I don't know if you've played PUBG or your children in your house must have. So when you tell them not to play, we become enemies of the child, the teenager, and they too hold lot of stories in them.
But what will you tell to aspiring teachers? First, those who want to be teachers, and second, those who are teachers. But I want you to tell them in context of telling stories. So what is your advice?
I don't know whether I have the authority to advise somebody, whether I have so much wisdom, but I'll speak from my experiences. Those who want to become teachers and want to become teachers is a very nice thing, because as I said before also, teaching is one job that pays you to be happy. No other job gives you money and asks you to smile. And every day you get the same student with different emotions. Yesterday he would have smiled at you, today you wouldn't even bother. So to be a teacher is very nice. It is very interesting to be a teacher come storyteller. A teacher, an aspiring teacher, has to be a good drama actor, because you need to do with a lot of drama also in the class. And yes, we are pretending sometimes. I'm not happy today, but still for my students' sake, I have to be very happy. And then I go in with a smile. And any teacher would say, when the teacher walks in to the class, when the teacher looks at the child, the moment one child smiles, she becomes very happy. No Sadguru, no Sri Sri Guruji or can have that power. Children have that power. Sorry, I'm taking these names, but then again, controversy, right? But it's my opinion,
I think they
right?
will say the same thing.
Yeah, children have the power to make you smile, to make you feel comfortable. And today's teacher has to become an actor also, a storyteller also. If possible, we also dance. I also dance with my students. So teacher has lot of roles. She has to be very versatile. And if she incorporates storytelling into her lessons, believe me, she can remain a good teacher, an impressive teacher. Some teachers have knowledge, but they are not impressive teachers. So if you use storytelling as a medium to boost your own teaching methods and comprehending, the child is able to comprehend better the concepts.
You have started your own institute for teachers education. You're educating teachers there, those who are already are teachers. So how can a teacher use storytelling to inspire students? So educating and inspiring through storytelling. So your experience or your piece of advice.
Okay. Let me correct you. I initiated the teacher education school, but right now I'm not associated with that. Okay.
Okay.
And it is being, I think we had initial batch about 18 teachers or 17. Out of that, 6 have joined St. Francis itself. And some of 2, 3 have started their own playgroup schools. So storytelling per se would be again a skill which you have to acquire. And today we have a lot of avenues where it is being literally taught. I'm a natural storyteller. Definitely, I mean, I don't know the grammar of it. I've just started telling, and I found that people like my stories, children like my stories. I've not done much with adults because I've been only interacting with children. So maybe I should try corporate some other time. And corporate world is very, to me, it is, you need to break their eyes first, because everybody looks at you, judging you by your exterior personality. But children just lap you, take it the way you are, lap it up, and they have a lot of interesting ideas, which in this session, I find something, I use it in the next session. So there's a lot of learning in every sessions. So what I did in the same story, I might say it differently in different places. Then since I know a little bit of languages, when I use those typical words, it breaks the ice. And everybody, I also feel very comfortable when I use that particular language in which I'm very, very comfortable with.
I would like to invite Prasad Rajgopalan, who's the founder of Stories for Training. Prasad is a good friend of mine, and uh, with his help, we are running this Stories with Kiran program uh, under the banner of Stories with Kiran and sponsored by Stories for Training. So Prasad is a very well-known video film maker. He runs his production house in the name of Insights Productions, and he has created this amazing platform called as Stories for Training. So Prasad, welcome, and please tell us little about Stories for Training.
And like Jyoti was saying, you can be a more effective teacher if you can incorporate storytelling while teaching. JP Phillips has introduced a concept called functional storytelling. What he says is, by telling a particular story, you can release a particular hormone which can create a particular effect. By that, what he means is, see, a mother and child relationship has the maximum trust today. And the reason is during pregnancy and immediately after delivery, a massive dose of oxytocin is released in the mother's. So this creates a big bonding between the mother and child. So in case you want to create a big trust between you and the audience, you need to release this oxytocin in your audience.
Wow.
Similarly, like when we see a fan and a celebrity moment, no, you see when girls, when they see Shah Rukh Khan, they go, ah, Shah Rukh. So that happens because there is a big dopamine release. So the bigger the dopamine release, the crazier the fans go. So similarly, if you want to have that bonding between you and the audience, you need to release the dopamine in them. So he has identified three key dopamines, three key hormones, dopamine, oxytocin, and endorphin. He says that if you can release this hormone in your audience, then you can create a big bonding. So what we have done is we have created a library of 90-second inspiring animated story videos. So using this story videos, you can release these hormones in your audience. And I can say this is the fastest way you can become a storyteller and engage your audience. So let me share the website. So this is the OTT channel called Stories for Training. It's a website-based OTT channel. And what we have done is we have created a library of 90-second story-based videos. Right. So we have created three categories here for presentation, for value education, and one is called Bollywood Se Seeko. So like JP Phillips was saying, say to start with, now if you want to create a smile on your audience's face, you want to make your audience relax, what you need to tell a story, show a story which can bring a smile on their face. So let me show one video.
आओ, क्राइम मास्टर गोगो नाम है मेरा। आया हूँ तो कुछ तो लेकर जाता हूँ, खाली हाथ कभी नहीं जाता। आप लोग क्या कर रहे हैं? आओ, आए हैं तो कुछ तो लेकर जाओ। आओ, ललिता, टाइम वेस्ट काय को कर रहे हो यार? पैसा वेस्ट मत करो यार। आओ, आया हूँ तो कुछ तो लेके जाऊंगा।
So if you are a trainer and you have a group of attendees, the best way to start a training is this particular video. I mean, you create a smile, so the smile can clear away all the tension in the audience's face. So they'll stop looking at their Facebook, their WhatsApp, and they'll give you their full attention. Similarly, we have created a library of parables which any teacher can use. So let me share that.
A man uses a hammer to kill a fly. gets you hired. EQ gets you promoted.
The Jyoti was speaking about the three picks. So similarly, if you want to talk about the importance of emotional intelligence for your audience, you share a story like this and start talking about it. So this would be the best way you can talk about the importance of emotional intelligence to your audience.
Jyoti, I wanted to
Yeah.
ask how
So-
you think that this stories for training can be useful for presenters or teachers to use. You just saw the platform.
I would like to say that I got to know Prasad through LinkedIn. And then, when he spoke about his stories, the videos that he has made, I thought it was just God sent for us. It's called like manna from heaven. And because for a teacher, a visual stimulus is very important. And this webinars or e-lessons, we started from April onwards. You have a lot of ready-made content in the school. Everybody knows about Educom, data classes, and all those things. But when Mr. C came from another C country, we were totally laid off. And from April 3rd, in my school, I would say, we started digital lessons, e-lessons. And the first thing the teacher was very scared scared in the sense, do I look beautiful on screen? All women have this feeling. Everybody wants to look presentable, nice, better than Aishwarya Rai or anybody else that you put on, right? So the problem was that was one issue. The second one was, how do I pick up videos or visual stimulus? After some time, I think in around May, the CBSE brought in a lot of apps called Diksha apps and other apps, which helps the teachers to get the videos. But the same thing is repeated. But Prasad, when I saw the videos, I thought this is most appropriate, and it's just 3 minutes, 3 minutes or 90 seconds, 90 seconds. So that's just enough to, trigger off a stimulus. And if it's too long, people are not going to watch it. And the teacher just wants to use a trigger and then get everybody onto the same page. And we know today in a class on Zoom or Google Meet or anything, children are there or not there also. It's mute, they're not visible, and his videos will definitely help all of us teachers. Instead of roaming around and trying to make your own videos, reinventing the wheel, I thought this is a very easy thing. In fact, Prasad was very kind. He said, initially we want to give it free. So that was again a wonderful gesture. But then I brainwashed him. I said, don't give anything free. We give a cost which is affordable. And so that there is a lot of commitment and ownership. If it is free, it has no value.
Yeah.
Right. So I thank Prasad for letting me into his video digital library and take a few videos for our teachers. That will be very helpful. And that also, let me tell you, indirectly builds the confidence of the teacher. She's going to be a better teacher because she's well equipped. And it's really going to be a blessing for all of us.
I want to ask you now, what is your formula, your structure of creating stories? So I'm interested in learning that.
I'm now getting scared because it looks like an interview to me.
It is. I am learning from the questions.
Okay.
You answered, yeah.
When I jumped into storytelling, I was not totally prepared as such, but then I found my own devices. So I think to be a successful storyteller, first is you have to get into the character's skin. You should stop believing that you are Jyoti. You stop believing you are Kiran or Prasad. So you become the character for that 20 minutes or 30 minutes. Then you are less inhibited. Right now, I'm not wondering who is looking at me and who has not watched me or nothing. I'm just talking with you. So then you leave all your inhibition and you tell the story the way it would be said. Then there's a lot of stress on your voice modulation. The simple word go, yeah, go can be said go, go, go. It's from that sound you will know whether the person is angry or he's okay, and then whether he's in a rage. Similarly, please go, please go, please go. Let's say two children are playing hide and seek, and the mother comes and says he's police. And so you tell their friend, please go now, please go. Same words. Then you are angry with your child who has come and disturbs you in your webinar. You'll say, please go. Then again, that please go becomes another higher please go. So voice modulation is very important. And sometimes your child says, can I go? Yeah, please go. You know, this is what we do. And storytellers have to be very good observers, mannerisms of people. To be a successful storyteller, we keep one particular chant or one particular strain throughout story. So the audience is always very much involved. Like somebody, like you're telling a story, suddenly you say, whenever I stop, you have to say, oh, la, 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 la. So everybody again comes back to you. So that is also very important. Props are very important. Like yesterday, my Xiao Long was my prop, and I felt very comfortable being with him. And, you know, I could kind of hide certain things which I didn't remember because I was checking it, and then I could recall my words. So props are very important. Voice modulation is important. Stop being yourself and get into the skin of the character. Forget about the audience. Enjoy your tale when you are narrating the tale. And I also tried different forms of storytelling. And what Prasad spoke about dopamine and oxytocin, in fact, that was my topic in the STEM festival of Dr. Jayaraman's birthday. I called it Rasayanik Manthan. Okay.
Oh.
The dopamine effect, the oxytocin. I didn't know Prasad was going to say that now. So I called it as Rasayanik Manthan. And it was just that, what is the effect on us when we tell stories. And everybody likes to have a very happy ending. Children love to hear a very happy ending. And they lived happily ever after. But, you know, that's something which we all, and again, it releases all the feel-good hormones. Rasayanik Manthan, which I did, it was an interesting story. So, Prasad, thanks for making me recall that stories.
One of the language you know very well, or you are learning whatever, is Sanskrit, and you are very good in telling stories in Sanskrit. And I would like you to narrate that particular story in Sanskrit, which you can share your screen and narrate.
So, Namaskar. Pratama Kupaha. This is about the first well, how it was made. It was created. Sarovaram paritaha kimapi laghu dhara rajyam asit. I'll just shift it a little. Yeah. Sarovaram paritaha kimapi laghu rajyam asit. There is a small kingdom. The pictures are very self-explanatory. So we would straight away go into that. Ekada अत्युष्णे ग्रीष्मे वृष्टि न अभवत् सरोवरः शुष्कजातः प्रजाः उद्विग्नं बभूवुः. You can see lot of people going to the king. Praja is people. Uddigramana, very worried, very sad. Ragya sankasham cha gatah. Krishaka avadan. Dirghakalam yavata vrishtina abhavat. Asmakam kshetrani shushkani jatani santi. Sarovare mrityasya grahantam matyasya na santi. Katam ajivikam prapyasyam. Iti divara aprachan. Gunashali Rajan Asman Vipadabhyam Rakshato. They are asking the king for protection. Iti Pipasitaha Mahila. The women said. शिशव च अंक्रदन् जलस्य अन्वेषणाय राजा सर्वासु दिशासु. You can see the king asking go in all the four directions. I'll not use in English because it will break the flow of the language. Later on we can move into it. Raja sarvasu dishasu chaturah senapatin preshayatah. Chaturah senapatin preshayatah. Suryodaya disham pratigatah. द्वितीय आतपे धलौ च दक्षिणः गतम्. तृतीय पश्चिम सूर्योस्त दिशं प्रतिगतः. चतुर्थ धृत्वा ध्रुवताराम् अन्वसरथ. ते अहर्निशम् अन्वेषन् उपरि नीचे च ते सर्वत्र अन्वेषन् किन्तु वृथा. त्रय सेनापतयः रिक्तहस्ता प्रत्यागतः. रिक्तहस्ता किन्तु उत्तर दिशं गतः सेनापति य राजान् निराशम् एवं नैव कर्तव्यम् इति निश्चयेन अग्रे एव गतवान्. अनन्तः तत्र सा पर्वते शीतग्रामेकं प्राप्तवान्. यदा स पर्वतस्य उपत्यकायाम् उपविष्ट आसीत् तदा कापि वृद्धा आगत्य तस्य पार्श्वे उपविष्ट सेनापति क्षितिशं दर्शयन् कथितवान्, अहं तस्मात् सुन्दरराज्यात् आगतः यत्र सम्पूर्णवर्षे वृष्टि न जाता एव. किं त्वं जलम् अन्वेष्टुं मम सहायं करिष्यसि इति. सा महिला इंगितेन सेनापतिम् एकस्य पर्वतगृहायां च नीतवती. सा अवदत्, अस्माकं देशे अपि जलं नास्ति. एतत् हिमम् इति ग्रहण किञ्चित्. सेनापति विशालं खण्डम् अत्रोटत. स्वरते अस्तपायत च. वेगेन गृहं प्रति आगच्छत. यावत् सः सम्प्राप्त लघुके हिमखण्डे अवशिष्ट आसीत्. सभायां केनपि कदापि हिमं न दृष्टमास्ति. सभायां केनपि कदापि हिमं न दृष्टम् आसीत्. एतत् जलबीजं स्यात् इति एकमन्त्रिः. राजा जलबीजस्य शीघ्रं वपनार्थम् आदिष्टवान्. यथा कृषकाः गर्तम् अखनन् तदा हिमखण्डम् अधिकतम् अद्रवत्. तथा अदृश्यम् अभवत्. कृषकाः सम्भ्रान्ता सचिन्ता जाता. They were confused. They were worried. What happened to that little ice piece? Te tat gartam gambirataram. Te tadat gartam gambirataram. Ratri paryantam akhanan. Tatra vichitram bijam anvaishyan cha. तत्र विचित्र बीजम् अन्वेषयन् च. उषकाले राजा गर्तनिकटे सुप्तान् कृषकान् अपश्यत्. कौतूहले स गर्तस्य अन्तर्भागे अपश्यत्. कौतूहलेन स गर्तस्य अन्तर्भागे अपश्यत्. जाग्रत मम योगप्रज्ञा. जलबीजम् अंकुरितम्. गर्ते जलमस्ति. The water has become a puddle of water and everybody was surprised to see the water there. Evam pratam kupah rachit. This was how the first well was created. Dhanyavadaha. He goes in search of water because water is not there. He goes to the north. Apparently, I don't know whether it is him. It's actually a Chinese folktale, I later on realized. So the lady gives him a huge glacier piece. By the time he comes home, it is just a small piece. And everybody is surprised. They think it is a water seed. And the ice keeps on getting melted. So they rush, the farmers, they dig. By the time they dig, it's become very small. And in their excitement, when they keep digging deeper, what happens? When you dig deeper, you get water. And this water droplets falls there, and they believe that this is water seeds. And this is how it is said the first well was created. So, and for me also, it was a very nice learning of this interesting story. So it is a beautiful story. It could be again used for science. It could be used for language. Anything that could be. You can speak about the determination of a person, that he didn't want his king to be left out or disappointed because the rest had gone empty-handed, whereas this person is Yogya Praja, a very person who is a fit and loyal to the king. So you be loyal to the country, come what may, you can do it for your country. So a lot of things, when I'm telling the story, a lot of things also come to my mind. And generally, I would request the storyteller that you need not always have a moral. Okay? Because that's a very lot of clashing issues come. We are taught to say morals, but even if you omit, it's okay. Let the child find out it's his own or her own value.